question. What does NASCAR technology have to do with building a classic Mopar?
And what do you do with those body panels that don't exactly fit perfectly?
Well, the answer to those and my latest invention.
Right now on Muscle Car. What is that? Hey guys, welcome to Muscle Car. As you can see, we've been pretty busy here in the shop. Our crate Camaro's really coming together.
And our restoration modification of the '70 Dodge Challenger has come a long way since we rolled it in last month.
You guys are going to see a lot of action on both projects today. And we're going to go over some body details in the Camaro that'll make a big difference before it sees paint.
And we're going to put the front suspension in this baby, but first we got to get you up to speed.
The first order of business? Get our project torn down, then stripped to bare metal by media blasting it. Now, nice and clean of all the surface rust, we lowered the Challenger onto a frame jig to keep it fixed and level. We shaved all the unnecessary holes in the firewall and replaced the inner fenders, but not before straightening our bent front clip. This allowed us to be able to hang our new front fenders. I like fire a lot, Lou.
Fire, fire, fire.
Got it, Lou?
I do now.
Sweet. All that rust and rot in the lower windshield frame was cut out and replaced with new fabricated window channels on both sides. We also replaced the rusty parts of the cowl and firewall. We hung new quarter panels, then eliminated the rust in the roof and the rear window channel. Then with the chassis straight, oh, that is so much better. Most of the metal work done on the body, our Challenger's back in good enough shape to start on the front suspension.
Like we mentioned earlier, the Challenger's getting an air ride set up front and rear, and here's what's going in up front. This system from Air Ride Technologies features these tubular upper control arms and this pair of Shockwave 3.0 airbags. They're made for independent front suspensions and feature double convoluted air spring bellows that will definitely handle the load capacity of the monster Hemi we're going to put in this thing. Not to mention, with the shock and the spring out of the way, you get a whole lot more tire clearance, so it's a lot neater package, and it just looks good.
We thought, why bolt all that cool stuff to 40-year-old technology? So we're going to scrap the stock K-member and go with this trick new part from Red Top Speed Shop. This thing's stronger, lighter, and it's going to allow us to be able to use a lot more modern parts. Another awesome thing is, this thing implements a lot of the same suspension and steering components that the NASCAR guys use on the weekends. And if it's good enough for them to go 200 miles an hour with, it's going to be good enough for our Challenger.
Now for you guys using the stock K-member in your E-body, Air Ride makes a bolt-in kit featuring the Shockwave 7000 series that installs without any fabrication. Now, this piece is just a prototype, which works perfect for what we're doing. But the K-members at Red Top Speed Shop shipped to the public will be a lot more refined. Now this K-member was designed to have bolts going through the frame in the back. But being that we had to make some structural repairs, we don't want to have to do that. So we're going to find another way to mount it.
We're going to bolt in the upper control arms that Air Ride supplied us with. They go in the stock location to work with the Shockwave. With our control arms installed, it's time to start thinking about a spindle. Now we got several options when we do this. We can go with a stock spindle, like the one that came off of our '70 Challenger, or go with this S10 spindle like we got in the junkyard. But we're going to go with this modified spindle from Bear Brakes, and I'm going to tell you why. This stock spindle's got a host of problems. Like, it's 36 years old, and the aftermarket's very narrow. It's going to be hard to find those big brakes and things like the steering components that you're looking for. Now let me show you what we got from Bear. This thing's already been modified to house their big caliper and rotor, and it comes with this trick hub that already has our stock Dodge bolt pattern on it. But before we can use this, we're going to have to do some modifications of our own.
The ball joint holes in our spindles need to be enlarged to fit bigger and stronger aftermarket ball joints. To do this, we're going to use a ball joint reamer. Mark the ball joints just before the end of the taper. Then you can start to enlarge the holes with the reamer. Always remember to take your time and check the fit, because you don't want to take too much metal out of the spindle. Grab it again then.
All right. So now
When you can fit the ball joint through, it's time to install it on the control arm. Voila!
Something you'll need to know when you're doing air ride is the ride height of the bag you choose, because this is going to be your spring, and in order for it to work right, it has to be at the correct ride height when it's going down the road. This one's supposed to be at 13 inches. That's going to dictate where we fabricate the lower control arm mount. And as you can see, we're going to have to get into some fabrication on the frame rail before we can put this bag in. So let's get started. Remove the 2 factory bump stops because they're in the way. And then cut away part of the frame rail for bag clearance.
I am marking where we need to cut the bag.
And then we have to re-brace the frame now in the area that we cut away.
Oh! Ah!
Next, we're gonna put the suspension back together and then put the bag in and check it and make sure everything's clearanced enough. This area here represents the ground. We have a wheel that's 24 inches in overall diameter, including the tire, so we're gonna wanna set our axle at 12-inch center. Lou made this awesome little jig that's gonna do just that.
Lift up. Now, is what I did, because I work alone so much, is I actually got bored one night and made this jig that holds the hub in place, and is what it is, I drilled it for every bolt pattern from 5 on 4.5 to 5 on 5. This way, when it's on there, it locks it down, and you can do all your fabrication.
This will also allow us to set the bag up at ride height so we can make our lower shock mount awesome.
Later on Muscle Car, the little pony that could. We'll flash back to the 70 AMX. But up next, you want your panels to fit nice? Jared's got the tricks. Muscle Car Fast Fact. Chevrolet's first true race engine was the famed Z11, offered up as an option in the '63 Impala. This 427 cubic inch beast burned up Daytona and set a track record at the time of 163 miles per hour.
Well, there she is, or should we say will be, when we finish our crate Camaro project all new.
New body, new fenders, new hood, all made from original dies from a 1969 Camaro. And like our Challenger, it's gonna be better than new when we get done with it.
One thing that can really set your car apart from the others is attention to details like door gaps. So we're going to take a look at what's involved to get the gaps on our Camaro really dialed in.
Something that'll really help you guys when you're fixing your door gaps. Install your latches and your strikers first. This way it holds the door nice and tight while you're setting them up.
Let me show you guys what we're talking about here with these door gaps. And this is an issue you're going to have on any muscle car. Now, even though our panel fitment's really good, it's still not perfect. Like, we have an inconsistent gap here on the back edge of the door. And what we're going to do in the tight areas is grind them, and we're going to add to the wide areas. And then take a piece of 3/16 thick metal. It's a good way to gauge your gap. Then you can check your fit at the end. I'll mark the back edge of the door with tape so that when I open it, I'll know where to grind to. Here's an uncommon use for vice grips. I like to stick them on as a hand rest for when I'm welding. Works out great, because otherwise, it's so hard to just, hold your hand out in free air. You can see where the edge of the door is split because it's actually multiple layers of metal, and grinding it's caused it to come apart. So what we're going to do is go back and weld this edge and then grind it again. Blew it up, my man.
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's the ticket, huh?
That's the way it's supposed to be.
That's where it's at. Just finished the doors, and now it's time to make the trunk gap look the same. It's a little tight across the back, so we're going to take some off and put it back on. Gaps like these are good enough for some car guys, but in the world I came from, everything's got to be perfect. So I can't live with something like this. I want every gap to be uniform, so I'm going to go the extra mile to make that happen. I use tape to establish where I want the new gap. Lot of tape. And then I'll grind the trunk skin back. The edge is going to split, so I have to weld it. Then I'll just use the old calibrated eyeball when I grind the weld down. Using a piece of wood like this distributes that blow evenly across the panel so I don't make a dent. Booyakasha. Sometimes if a panel don't fit, you gotta make it fit. Lou, check this out. Remember how high it was up in there?
Oh yeah, man, it's come down a lot.
I know, check it out over here. Feel this? Remember that?
Oh yeah, it's the
then-
bonus plan.
Do what I say. That's very pretty. All right. See how it works, how it fits. All right, now that's what I'm talking about. It took a little bit of extra time and effort, but if you really slow down and pay attention to things like this, it's gonna help your panels fit a lot nicer. We'll see you guys after the break. Welcome to Muscle Car, where we like to turn back the clock and look at the cars that defined an era. This week, a little pony car that tried to take on the big dogs.
Muscle Car Flashback. This week, the 1970 AMX.
In the late 60s, the big three were cranking out tens of thousands. GTOs, Mustangs, Chevelles, and Chargers. A dollar bill bought you 4 gallons of gas, and performance ruled the streets, as well as the showrooms.
But American Motors,
Rambler Classic Wagon, see it at your friendly Giant show.
with its bland economy car reputation, was losing millions, and Kenosha needed a competitive muscle car fast. Their best shot? The 1970 American Motors Experimental, a powerful, short wheelbase, 2-seat pony car.
The new AMX was built on a section Javelin floor plan with a flying buttress roofline that extended to the tips of the rear quarters.
Steep angle rear glass accentuated the car's signature muscle car look.
The smooth fastback profile featured rocker panel moldings, black mask paint, and distinctive C-stripe graphics.
Up front, functional ram air hood, flush mount grille, and bumper air vents to cool the brakes provided an aggressive look. But backing up that new look was going to take a lot more muscle.
Pow! AMC's new 390-inch, 3¼ horse V8, optional 10-to-1 compression. This motor was the weapon of choice with a Holley 4-barrel and new cylinder heads.
70 was the debut of the dogleg heads, which was an excellent flowing head design, one of the best in the small block era.
Delivering a tire-smoking 425 pounds of torque, the 390 with its optional M12 four-corner transmission ran the quarter in mid-14.
Dual ball joint front end and traction bars were stock, but side exhaust pipes, spoilers, and more were dealer add-ons.
Bucket seats, sport wheel, optional wood trim with rally pack gauges and numbered dash plaques complete the cabin.
With an MSRP of only $33.95, it was a lot of car for the price, but unfortunately, just 4,116 were sold, way short of AMC's break-even point at 10,000 units. In retrospect, it was affordable, it had the look, plus it had performance. But by 1970, for AMC, it was too little, too late.
Up next, Jared's winging it on the Camaro, while Lou buttons up Challenger's front suspension. Muscle Car. We'll be right back.
Now that we got the deck lid fitting good, we're gonna put a Trans Am wing on this bad mamma jamma. If you guys are drilling holes in sheet metal, you're gonna be tempted to grab a standard bit, but grab a unibit. This thing's gonna save you a lot of headaches because it's less likely to tear the metal. Let's ride. Woo! We got a wing on this thing.
Jared's been hammering out the seams on the crate Camaro, and everything's starting to line up perfect.
And Lou's been going to town on our Challenger suspension. And what's awesome about this thing is, you'll be able to go lay the smack down at a drag strip in one state, then drive to the next state and go rip around a road course.
This thing's got the best parts that we could throw on it, and let me tell you something, this is gonna be one nasty street fighter.
So let's get it done.
Before I can put in the steering, I need to finish both sides of the suspension. Hey, tough guy.
What do you want, Santiago? I'm busy.
No, you're not. You're lollygagging. Let's put the bag in real quick, man. Now that we've got our steering box installed up front, out of the way of that big, massive Hemi, we're going to install something even cooler. Take this center link from Laughlin Racing. Not only is it neat, but it's adjustable. You can take these slugs and go anywhere between dead center to 3/8 of an inch off center. Now see, those Nextel Cup guys, is what they do is they set it up so it leans to the left, so they can go around them turns at 200 miles an hour. But that's not what we want to do. We want to set ours up for a little more road race action. We can knock out that bump steer, and it's just overall a cool piece. First, I'll install the center link to the pitman arm, then the inner and outer tie rod ends, and attach them to the spindles. Then, on the passenger side, the idler arm attaches to the chassis, then to the center link.
It's down to throwing on the last 3 body panels. The header panel. Oh, why don't want a tool in my hand anymore? I just let it go. I just drop it. Cold like that. Front balance. And the cowl. Oh, can you say bad? Our 69 Camaro just keeps getting tougher. Okay, now this is what I'm talking about, man. Plenty of tire clearance. We'll be able to drive the wheels off this thing.
Be able to cut those donuts.
That's bad. Hey, man, check back with us next week, because this thing's only going to get further along.
Later.